I don't ever really want to watch him play football again. I have no problem saying that.
Yeah.
He's irrational. He's unstable. I think he needs mental help. I don't say that flippantly. I think there's something wrong with him, and I have real fear that his life is going down the wrong road. I just do. Having said that and suspending that for a moment, you got to realize, outside of Michael Thomas, their second leading receiver in terms of yards is a tight end. Their third leading receiver in terms of yards is a running back. Their fourth leading receiver in terms of yards is Teddy Ginn, who has like 20 catches. Their fifth leading receiver is a running back. Their sixth is a tight end. And their seventh leading receiver, based on sheer yardage, is somebody who plays three positions, Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So from a do your diligence point of view, I got to be honest, as much as I don't like Antonio Brown, it's pretty smart.
Well, you take a flyer at him, and if it works out, then it works out, and you have a exciting, explosive player. The other stuff notwithstanding, you deal with if in the short term. The challenge is going to be what the NFL has to say about this. And we all know how this is played out. Antonio Brown is not on the commissioner's exempt list. He is still being, quote, investigated. There's been no decision made because the NFL doesn't have to make a decision. Roger Goodell doesn't. He's not in the league, so he doesn't have to do anything. No team has taken a shot at him. But you almost get the sense, and you heard this all day today, BT, that no matter who decides to ultimately sign him, he's immediately going to get put on the commissioner's exempt list because the commissioner and the NFL don't want to deal with the narrative around Antonio Brown as this season winds down. For the Saints, you'd weather it. I hear you. Yes, they need him, but they could probably make do without him. But if you can have him, it's one of those things. It's like a weird space that the Saints are in because I don't think they need him. I think they can find ways to win without him. But if they have him, man, it gets really exciting for the Saints.
It really does. Now, there's the two issues, and Tiki hit on the first one, the commissioner's exempt list. There's also, and Sean Payton, I just saw this tweet a couple of minutes ago, he's still searching for clarity as to whether or not they sign him. If they sign him, would he be eligible for postseason play independent of the commissioner's list? So does Goodell throw him on there? And I'm with you. I believe that they've kicked this down the road until they have to. If the Saints or if the Pats went back to that well, whomever, I strongly believe as soon as that happens, if that happens, boom, they will react and he will be on that list. So that will kind of make this conversation moot, at least until next season, if he stays with the team and then you enter 2020 with a real weapon. The other part is if you sign him now, because think about this, in baseball and, there's certain trades and the NBA, there are stipulations. Acquiring players, it's a little different than signing players, but if he's not on the exempt list, there's no guarantee he'd be able to play anyway in the playoffs that he would be eligible.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, in my mind, figure out why Sean Payton would do this. Why add this layer to your
Because
team?
the NFC is about as good as it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
That might be one reason, because the 49ers just scored 50 points on them, basically, and they lost the game. And by the way, the Saints scored almost 50 themselves, so they know that the Niners know how to score on them. They know that Seattle, you have to go out there. Any extra weapon is good. You know that if you have to go to Green Bay, any extra weapon is good. I mean, the NFC's good. That's the short answer. It's good.
It's uncertain who is the better team. And so if you can give yourself a leg up, even if it's a controversial one, would you do it? The question is, are fans, if you're a Saints fan, do you want Antonio Brown? Are you that committed to just winning getting another chance at a Super Bowl for Drew Brees before his tenure ends here, or Sean Payton? I think he's going to be there for the long haul, Sean Payton, but there's always been that speculation that he's headed somewhere else like Dallas. I don't think that's going to happen. But still, if you're a Saints fan, will you suspend what you know and believe and I guess kind of despise in some regards about Antonio Brown to get a championship? The question is I think it's not as easy as it sounds. Because I'm trying to think, if this was the Giants, would I say, yeah, bring him in? If I was the Saints right now and this was the Giants, would I say bring him in because he's going to help us? And we'll jettison him after the season because it doesn't matter anymore. But he helped us get there.
But here's the thing. You're whether it's the Giants or the Jets or the Dolphins, let's say, or the Browns.
It becomes mercenary football.
It does, but it also becomes possibly a different answer because the Jets we'll use the Giants. You brought the Giants up.
Yeah.
The Giants have had a couple of bad years in a row. And Giant fans are far more desperate and probably, not to speak for millions and millions of people, But I would think that I would be accurate as a fan myself when I say that most fans, or at least, more than 50%, so the majority, I'm not saying 90%, but at least 51% or 50 point whatever, would be willing to swallow it in the short term to get out of this extended malaise that they've been in. Giants fans are tired of losing. Jets fans are tired of losing. Browns fans expected something different this season. There's a lot of bad, as much as we have, as much as the NFC is great, that means there's a lot of bad teams. When the 6th seed in the NFC is the Vikings with double-figure wins, who very well might have the best roster 1 through 53, that means there's a lot of bad teams. So there's probably a lot of fan bases who are restless, and to answer it directly, probably say, you know what? I want to win.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I'm tired of getting my brains beaten and being a peasant in the world of the NFL. Bring them in. That's what I think most people would say. I really do.
I think you're probably right, but it just feels dirty.
It definitely does.
It just feels, and I don't know why. I mean, Antonio Brown is crazy. He does have these 2 domestic incidents out against him. One is a civil suit. One is not even being prosecuted, right? I don't think it's being...
Talking about the massage one? When he asked his trainer, when he allegedly walked up and
I don't think that
whatever
one
he
is
did.
being looked at, really. The other one is kind of in a civil suit, never really a criminal case. So it's in an odd space because you can't really pass judgment legally on him to say, well, you're convicted of this or
True.
you did this. It's kind of speculation and innuendo and, a lawsuit, but a civil one, which is much different than a criminal lawsuit. But then there's the crazy side of it, where he's tweeting and putting out all kinds of different social media posts that are random and just all over the place. And if you bring that into your locker room, what does that do to you? I don't know if the locker room would respect him. There's certain guys that have this, I don't know, this feel about them, whether they're crazy or not, that the locker room will respect. Mm-hmm. I don't think Antonio Brown has that.
Interesting.
I think half the locker room will be turned off by him, to be honest with you.
And that opens up a different part of the answer for the fans. Like, I think if you trust your head coach and you trust your quarterback, and let's face it, the duo dynamic of Sean Payton and Drew Brees is as stable and as good as it gets outside of Belichick and Brady.
True, but he also went awry in New England. Like, if there was one coach...
Did he really? He went awry after.
No, it was because remember, he got suspended. Remember how this played out? So there was the standing accusation, and then the second one came in.
Correct.
And he responded to it like a threat, not threatening, but it was threatening.
But not to the Pats.
Not to the
woman.
Pats, to the woman.
Correct.
And the Pats have this I don't know, this way about don't say anything. Don't respond to anything. Just let us handle it or let it seep away or however they do it. They don't respond. He ran afoul of the Patriot way by responding in the way that he did, which caused him to get suspended by the New England Patriots, and then ultimately they released him. And so if Bill Belichick and Tom Brady can't coerce him to just simmer down, man, like tamp it down, who is going to be able to? I mean, no one.